There's a growing fear about monkeypox in the country. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention are advising travelers to wear masks to protect against monkeypox. It has raised its alert level. There are 31 cases in the United States, 7 in New York and 6 in California. And around the rest of the country, the District of Columbia, Georgia, Hawaii, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Washington all have at least one confirmed case. Florida has 4. Colorado has 3. 2 in Illinois and Utah. New York has the most confirmed cases with 7. California has 6. The White House has distributed more than 1,200 vaccines for the viral disease. Now, there's not actually a monkeypox vaccine per se. There's the smallpox vaccine that works against it, is my understanding. Avoid eating and preparing meat from wild game or using products derived from wild game from Africa. The CDC says wear a mask. It helps protect you, allegedly. And avoid contact with sick people, including those with skin lesions or genital lesions. And steer clear of dead or live wild animals, including rats, squirrels, and monkeys. They're suddenly taking this super serious, are they not? I got to read you an Associated Press report because this isn't getting talked about very much. This is from the Associated Press. A leading advisor to the World Health Organization described the unprecedented outbreak of monkeypox in developed countries as a random event that appears to have been caused by sexual activity at 2 recent raves in Europe. Dr. David Heyman, who formerly headed the World Health Organization's Emergencies Department, told the Associated Press that the leading theory to explain the spread of the disease was sexual transmission at raves held in Spain and Belgium. Monkeypox has not previously triggered worldwide outbreaks beyond Africa, where it is endemic in animals. We know monkeypox can spread where there is close contact with the lesions of someone who is infected, and it looks like sexual contact has now amplified that transmission. This marks a significant departure from the disease's typical pattern of spread in Central and Western Africa, where people are mainly infected by animals like wild rodents and primates, and outbreaks that have not spilled across borders. Health officials said most of the known cases in Europe have been among men who have had sex with other men, but anyone can be infected through close contact with a sick person, their clothing, or bed sheets. Scientists say it will be difficult to disentangle whether the spread is driven by sex or close contact. There is an additional theory about a pride event in the Canary Islands where people went before going to the raves in the European countries. On Monday, the European Center for Disease Prevention and Control Director Andrea Amann said the likelihood of further spread of the virus through close contact, for example, during sexual activities among persons with multiple sexual partners, is high. There are cases in Canada, Spain, Israel, France, Switzerland, the United States, and Australia. On Monday, Denmark announced its first case, and Portugal has 37 cases. Italy reportedly has 1 further infection, and Britain has added 37 cases. Germany has 4 confirmed cases linked to exposure at party events where sexual activity took place in the Canary Islands and Berlin. If you want to avoid monkey sex, don't go to orgies. I mean, at this point, it has spread to the point where people who have gone to the orgies have come back and had sex with other people and given it to them. It's not a sexually transmitted disease, much like smallpox and chickenpox. It comes from being in close contact with people. Well, it's hard not to touch someone when you're having sex with them, and that's what's actually happening. They haven't wanted to talk about it in that way because the reason is because they don't want to spread rampant homophobia like with the AIDS situation in the 1980s, claiming that it's some sort of sexually transmitted disease. Monkeypox is not a sexually transmitted disease. However, it is spreading right now because people have very close contact when they're having intimate relationships. In this situation, it appears to mostly overwhelmingly be gay men. In fact, Madrid's senior health official said Monday the Spanish capital has 30 confirmed cases. They are investigating links between a gay pride event in the Canary Islands, which drew 80,000 people, and cases at a sauna in Madrid. To put it more bluntly, a bunch of gay men were in the Canary Islands at a pride event, had sexual relations with each other. Someone there was infected with monkeypox. More than one person had sex with that person. Those people then got infected and went to a gay bathhouse in Madrid where they encountered tourists and they had sex in the sauna, and they began spreading it that way. You can understand why they're trying to downplay the angle of gay men having sex in various places, because you don't want people to think that only gay people get this, because it's not true. Nor do you want people to think that it comes through sexual contact, because it comes through touching another person, regardless of where you touch them once they're infected. But you can also see why the media has tiptoed around the story, can you not? Because they have really tiptoed around the story. Oh, I've read the stories. I've read them from most of the Associated Press reports of late. I've read them from the American press reports. I've read them from the news outlets. You don't really hear them talking about monkeypox is spreading around the Western world because of a bunch of gay pride events in Europe that a bunch of tourists went to from around the world. They had a bunch of raves, sex, and got monkeypox. And now it's spreading more because it takes some days to figure out whether or not they're infected. And so the result is that the CDC is back on wearing masks. I note to self and to all of you, when the COVID first came out, the CDC said, well, you can get it off surfaces. We've got neighbors who you could watch them. They would get all their groceries delivered, letting the Instacart people potentially get infected at the time, leave the groceries on their front porch, and then they'd spray everything down with Lysol. Saw this repeatedly. Turns out that you're not going to get COVID from surfaces. In fact, all of the clean theater that a lot of businesses are going through, originally the scientists did think we could get it off surfaces. The problem is that the studies were super high concentrations of COVID. In general, you're not going to get COVID off a surface. You're not going to get it off a doorknob. You're not going to get it off a door handle. You're not going to get it off a counter. You're not going to get it off a product at the grocery store. You're not going to get it off the grocery scanners. You're not going to get COVID from surfaces. But monkeypox, you can get from touching someone else. Just like COVID, you're not going to get monkeypox from touching a counter. But you can get monkeypox from touching another person, just like you can COVID, but more so with monkeypox. And so wearing your mask isn't going to do you much good if you're touching someone who has monkeypox, which is where all of this has come from. My frustration with this story is that major media outlets are rushing to freak people out about monkeypox. The Associated Press, in its subsequent stories, the one I read to you tying all of this stuff together was from May 23rd. In the subsequent stories, very few of them want to talk about where the monkeypox has come from and how it is spreading. Potential cases of the virus have been confirmed in Atlanta and San Francisco among people who have recently traveled to areas where the virus is prevalent. The first positive case in the United States came on May 18th, when it was detected in a person who had returned from Canada. 2 different strains have been found in the United States, with a vast majority of cases matching the same strain that's been found in Europe. Both strains are of the less severe Western African variant. 2 different strains implied that there were multiple animal-to-human transfers of the virus that eventually led to the United States. All of the people who have gotten it have something in common. It's not that they're gay. So they've been in sexually compromising situations, typically with people who are not partners, but casually. That's just the truth. And people are dancing around it. And now you're getting Americans who are convinced that, oh my gosh, first we had COVID, now we've got monkeypox, we're all going to die. You're not going to die. And if you're not having random group anonymous orgy sex, you're probably not going to get monkeypox either. We live in a fallen world. And the problem is people are so sensitive these days, we can't talk about this stuff. Think about, let's just, pivot back to the story of the 5 baseball players. They just didn't want to wear pride logos. That's it. And members of the media are vilifying these 5 people as bigots for not wanting to go along with it. And that very same media that is vilifying 5 people who didn't want to wear pride logos are dancing around and refusing to talk about where the monkeypox is coming from and spreading, lest during Pride Month they disparage the gay community. All I ask is you give us the facts. Give us the facts. But think about this. Dave Weigel, who is a reporter at the Washington Post, retweeted a joke some people did not find funny. He's now been suspended because the members of the press who work for the Washington Post are so sensitive they were offended by the joke that all girls are bi. You just have to wait to find out if it's sexual or polar. That was basically the joke. And he had to be suspended for retweeting someone else's joke. He apologized. He deleted it. Still got suspended. And the very same reporters who get offended by that are the very same reporters who can't give you the full truth of a story because they're worried they might offend a community of people. And in offending the community of people, far be it for you to have the truth. They're more about not offending other people. And as a result, your trust in the media goes down and your willingness to believe the conspiracy theorists of America goes up because the conspiracy theorists and offending everybody feel like they're telling you the truth. The media is not telling you. And really, who can blame you?